Prelude to the book Vedic Thought and Western Psychology. Definition: Western psychology has been struggling hard to establish itself a valid scientific discipline, without success. Its philosophical foundation is shaky. To start with, the very definition of psychology itself is incomplete and imperfect. Scientific tradition advocates objectivity as a mandatory requisite in pursuing any inquiry or investigation. The theme is, subject observes the object, and the observed data is deduced to formulate a theory, a hypothesis, or a law. Here in psychology, an impasse has risen because of its inability to find the object of its inquiry. In medical discipline, the object of inquiry is precise and perceptible. For example, cardiology is the scientific study of heart and its disorders, or neurology implies the study of the brain and nervous system and its diseases. When we talk of psychology, the question is, what does psychology study? Where is the object of observation? Is it definable or tangible to our five senses? There is no answer to these questions. However, several definitions of psychology have been worked out and rejected as these are found to be unsatisfactory. The evolution of these definitions is interesting. The shift of emphasis in these amended definitions has been from the abstract to the concrete and from subjectivity to objectivity. Observe the following. Psychology is the systematic study of the human mind, or psyche, psychocentric, human brain, biocentric, human behavior, sociocentric. All these approaches to definition are partisan, reductionist and sectarian because of their emphasis on the study of the part, without any reference or relevance to the whole. There doesn't exist a single school of psychology which answers the question, what is a human being? Is he only a network of nerves, muscles, and organs? Is he only a composite matrix of relentlessly splashing sensations, emotions and thoughts? Is there an unmoving background which is an eternal witness to all these phenomena? Is it consciousness, an ever-existing, everlasting entity posterior to the mental operations? Schools of psychology. Depending upon the diverse definitions and their characteristic methodologies and conceptual frameworks, several schools of psychology have emerged. These are psychoanalytical, sociobiological, behavioral and humanistic. Methodology. Psychocentric schools adopted the method of introspection, study of individual case histories and their phenomenological elaborations to suit the whims and fancies of various armchair thinkers of Europe like Sigmund Freud, Alfred Adler and Carl Jung and several others. Biological and behavioral schools were committed to the scientific tradition of investigation which pursues the steps of controlled observation through the five senses, extended observation via instrumentation, data collection and analysis, deduction, inference and induction. These steps involve statistical quantitative techniques to describe the subjective and the experiential aspect of a human being in terms of quantities, statistical probabilities, topographic descriptions, scatter diagrams, correlative coefficients, reliability and validity aspects and levels of significance, and formulating hypotheses, theories and laws. Reluctant to accept the term mind, The psychocentric schools postulated the still woolly and elusive concept of psyche to account for the purely existential, experiential core of a being. Similarly, the behavioral and the biological schools were committed to radical objectivity and therefore considered the terms mind, psyche, and consciousness obsolete and unscientific. While the biological school emphasized the study of neural circuits and mechanisms, the behavioral school restricted itself to the detached study of behavior and its implications. Apply a quantified stimulus and study the emergent response, was the gospel. Common constructs underlying all the schools. Epiphenomenalism. This means that the subjective core of existence of a being is the end result of his bodily interactions. Determinism. Inherent and intrinsic biological mechanisms in the being and its social milieu dictate its behavior, and therefore deterministic factors render the person unaccountable to his actions. Reductionism. The central theme here is to reduce the whole into ultimate parts, or the building blocks. Unfortunately, the outcome of these strategies has been counterproductive. In the unending process of reduction, the part has lost its identity and relevance because of its divorce from the original whole. The denial of consciousness as a primary reality in nature has deprived human being of his intrinsic moral accountability to his actions. In answering the question "What is man?", the chase through anatomy, physiology, cellular kinetics and biochemical formulae has not led us to the real answer. Psychologists and biologists drown themselves in an ocean of information and data, without ever being able to answer the critical questions: what is man? What is mind? What is consciousness? Why do we behave the way we behave? The fallout, the social repercussions of modern psychology have been diverse and alarming. Psychologists are unable to answer the fundamental questions pertaining to man's real nature, his mental aberrations, his behavioral spectrum ranging from radical criminality to ultra-sainthood, his insatiable greed to exploit nature, his abnormal appetite to consume and exhaust the natural resources, his inability to coexist with the subhuman beings, and his sheer inability to live by the needs rather than greed. Grave implications. The unfortunate implication of Western psychological theories is the denial of an everlasting background consciousness posterior to the vivid ramifications of mind, energy and matter. This question of a static and eternal background behind the sensational and psychedelic phenomena of our life perforce arises in the mind of any genuine seeker of reality. The paradigm of studying the part, without reference to its whole, has rendered Western psychology partisan and unreliable. However, modern physics has not fallen into this trap because of its holistic approach to reality. The denial of supreme consciousness as the static background and considering consciousness and mind synonymous, or considering consciousness as a mere byproduct of neuronal interactions, has deprived the human being of self-responsibility, accountability and his intrinsic moral drive. Social repercussions. The diverse social repercussions of these constructs are devastating in terms of human relationship, impulse control, family welfare, ecology and various aspects of life. The emerging scenario of our so-called modern civilization, the modern world, and the modern human is despicable. What we witness today is a civilizational disorder. Our modern human beings are greedy, gluttonous, reckless and dehumanized. They are heinous, profligate and indulgent and Frankenstein monsters who consume anything and everything they encounter: air, water, earth, fire, sky, oceans, mountains, forests and the subhuman species. They have tainted their hands with the blood of billions of innocent subhuman beings because of their perverted appetite for meat-eating, cosmetics, scientific experiments and religious superstitions. Modern world. This so-called modern world, presided by its champion, our modern man, is unique in a way. He is the only being who violates the natural laws and invites several self-inflicted karmic wounds. One of them is the current COVID-19 pandemic and its dreaded consequences across the world. Regrettably, he does not realize his role of being a villain in the COVID drama. He has failed to appreciate the need to change his sick lifestyle from greedy indulgence to a life of self-enforced restraints and moderation by satisfying only the genuine need of life. Modern civilization. Our modern civilization has all the negative black spots on it. Anyone who reflects seriously would realize that it is a sick and decadent civilization with all its ugly heads. Greedy exploitation of Mother Nature, consumerism, abuse of audio, visual and electronic media for the detriment of the society, economic agenda without any altruistic motive tailored by perverted economists and intellectuals, political philosophy with sinister hidden designs, scientific progress and technological feats without the noble intentions to help every being on our earth, unprecedented torture and butchering of animals, a military technology to annihilate each other, corruption in every walk of life, vulgar and violent exploitation of women, pornography, skyrocketing crime, uncontrolled spread of incurable diseases, addiction to alcohol and intoxicant drugs, uneven economic prosperity which concentrates the power in the hands of a few mellifluous nations or individuals, a ferocious, usually indulgent lifestyle, callous regard to the downtrodden and the miserable, extreme self-centeredness, competitive rat race for supremacy, lack of complementarity without a live and let live ideal and morbid interpersonal relationship based on mutual exploitation etc. are the examples. Need of the hour. At this crucial juncture, revival and regeneration of our innate spiritual instinct is the need of the hour. Whatever nation, religion and language we may belong to, our final spiritual goal should be the same: peaceful coexistence, happiness and progress of all. The revival of spiritual instinct demands a journey to be embarked and undertaken within the interior of our consciousness. Surveying the topography of our own mental states and learning the art of living in harmony with these angularities, redirecting the accumulated momentum of energy into individually and socially productive channels, shifting the focal point of all the mental operations into our central core of pure consciousness are needed. The reward for the spiritual awakening of mankind will be far-reaching. The arena of positive change will be wide. The social impact would be on family, nation, world, political ideologies, economic theories, animal rights, environment and ecology, preempting wars, educational pursuits, vocation and health. Revival of ancient Vedic wisdom. Revival of the inherent wisdom of the ancient Vedic revelations by the seers would be very much relevant and warranted at this moment. Vedas offer us the right prescription to live on this planet with peaceful coexistence. The glaring deficiencies of modern Western psychology could be corrected by following the Vedic message. Cooperation, not competition. Responding, not reacting reflexively. Middle path, not extremes. Fulfilling the needs, not succumbing to greed. Vedas offer us balance, proportion, perspective, holistic vision, practice of self-imposed restraints and self-control, concern and compassion, empathy and understanding, hope, meaning and fulfillment.